Hey everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. So I actually had a pretty awful reading month in February. I didn't really read a lot apart from the stuff that I had to read for school, but that being said, I had an amazing writing month. I started writing a book in February and I've been doing really well with that, and I've also been writing just kind of little things here and there. So I had overall a pretty good month in February considering that I wrote so much, but I think in March I'm going to kind of try and balance writing and reading so then my reading doesn't really suffer because of how much I'm writing. It's just all about the balance, which I am trying to find. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into what I read in February. So the first book that I read in February is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This was one of my classics for the month. I actually ended up reading quite a few classics this month, but I decided to pick this one up just because I've read Sylvia Plath's poetry before and I really enjoyed it, and she's just kind of such an iconic figure that I really wanted to read the novel that is kind of a memoir-ish thing. So I really wanted to kind of read from her perspective and her struggles with mental illness. I think she's just a really intriguing person, so I was really excited to kind of hear her words of her story since you hear it from so many other people, and I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was really well written, really interesting, and the imagery is really just potent and it just works really well, and I just think she's such an amazing writer, and the fact that she can do poetry so well and narrative so well is just, it blows my mind. So overall, I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. Then after that, I finally read Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I really enjoyed this book, but then I was talking the other day to Maureen over at Maureen Kiwi about this book, and I saw her review, and she wasn't a huge fan of this book, and a lot of what she said really opened my eyes to a lot of the issues that I was kind of overlooking. I think my main issues were with the characters and how they're not even really developed, but they just transform into these different people. So if you read Throne of Glass and then you read this book, you honestly can't even tell that it's from the same series in some ways, which is a little bit annoying, so I do completely understand Maureen's opinion. But that being said, I did end up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars because I did really enjoy it. I am having a few issues with the characters, but overall I thought the plot went really well. It was fast moving, I like where it's going, and it kind of kept me on the edge of my seat the whole entire time, which is really what I like about this series. If you want to know more of my thoughts, I'm not going to say too much here, but I do have a review where I go more into depth about it, so I will link that down below for you guys. But yeah, overall I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited for the next one. Then after that, I picked up King Lear by William Shakespeare. I had to read this for my Shakespeare class, and honestly, I did not enjoy this as much as I was expecting to. I had heard such great things about King Lear and heard it was just fabulous. It's a lot of people's favorite play, but it didn't like it that much. Like, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, so I didn't hate it, but I think my expectations were so high, and plus someone had told me that there were fairies in it, so I was like, yeah, we're gonna get some like Midsummer Night's Dream stuff in here, some fairies. There are no fairies in this book, which was really disappointing, but it was a good play overall, and it's really interesting to study in class, so I did enjoy it, but it's definitely not really up there as my favorite. Then I read a couple of books for my Victorian child class. So the first one is The Light Princess by George MacDonald. This is just a fairy tale about there's the king and the queen, and they've been trying to have a baby and then they can't, but then they do end up having a baby, and the baby is the Light Princess, and she's the Light Princess because she keeps on flying away, and it's kind of just a fairy tale about her. She meets a prince, all that stuff. Yeah, it's really cute. I did really enjoy it. I think I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, something like that. It was just kind of your typical fairy tale, and it was just really fun to read. Then after that, I read Jessica's First Prayer by Hesba Stretton. I ended up giving this, I think, a 3 out of 5 stars. I can understand why Victorians would like it, but it didn't really sit well with me. Not because it was like controversial or anything, but it was just kind of boring, and it was just the typical like sentimental Victorian novel. Jessica is this poor girl who she's asking this guy for coffee all the time, and he gives it to her, and she ends up being kind of this Christ-like figure because she turns to God and God saves her, and she ends up saving the man who is greedy from that. It's just this whole thing. It's just really kind of corny and typical Victorian. So yeah, I just gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then the last one that I read for my Victorian Child class is a Child's Garden of Verses, and this is by Robert Louis Stevenson. I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a collection of poetry, and I did really enjoy the poems. I thought they were, like, they're written in really plain and simple language, so I think anyone can really understand them, which I really liked since it is poetry meant for kids. I liked the topics of most of the poems. I did really enjoy it overall. I thought it was a fun little poetry book. Then after that, I read The Siren by Kiera. I did not like this book, which I'm kind of surprised about because I do really love Kiera. I really love her romances. I don't think she's like the best writer in the whole entire world, but she can write a romance that I just absolutely love. They're kind of my guilty pleasures. This book just fell flat on all fronts for me. I do have a review for it. It will be going up today at the same time of this video, so it'll be up by the time this is up, so I will link that down below for you guys. I'll go more into depth there, but I just had so many issues with this book. I ended up giving it a 2 out of 5 stars. It just completely kind of was disappointing for me, so yeah. And then the last book that I read in February was Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I really loved this book. This is the second Jane Austen book that I've read because I read Northanger Abbey for class a couple years ago, but this is the first one that I read on my own, and it's the first one that I've read because right now I'm reading them all in publication order. So I really love this one. It was so exciting. I really enjoyed it. I was so glad because so many people were telling me that I was going to love it, and then I was like, what if I don't? But I did end up really enjoying it. I really like Austen uses this like really sarcastic, witty narrator who's kind of just like throwing shade at everyone, but so subtly that she can't really get in trouble for it. I really love it. She's so judgmental, like, about all the characters she's narrating that I think it's so funny. She's kind of this character in herself, and I really did enjoy all the other characters. I liked the sister relationship, and Austen I just think really does romance well. I just think they're funny, but like overall her books are just all around enjoyable. So I give this one a 5 out of 5 stars. So that's all for my February wrap up. I know I didn't really read too much, but like I said, I've been writing a lot, and next month I'm gonna try and kind of balance that out. I'm actually, February's not over yet, so I might finish one more book. I'm reading Zack and Mia right now, and I'm like really close to the end, so I might be able to actually finish that in February too, which would be nice, because then that would mean I've read 5 books for fun, which would be good. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys read in February, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!